My name is Rebecca Ann Morrison. I'm 38 years old, and I was sitting in a cold examination room in Chicago when my fertility doctor looked me in the eyes and said the 5 words that destroyed everything I'd been fighting for over the past 7 years. I'm sorry, but it's over. Couldn't breathe. 9 rounds of IVF, $200,000 in debt, 7 years of my life. And it was just ... over. I remember gripping the edge of that paper-covered table so hard my knuckles went white. My husband Derek sat next to me, but I couldn't look at him. I couldn't look at anyone. Before I continue, I want you to know this story discusses pregnancy loss, infertility, and the emotional trauma that comes with it. If you're going through something similar, please know you're not alone. Some names and details have been changed for privacy. That night, after we drove home in complete silence, I did something I hadn't done in years. I went into my closet, pulled out a cardboard box from the top shelf, and opened my late grandmother's Bible. She'd passed away 2 years earlier, and I'd been holding on to it ever since. I don't know why I reached for it that night. Maybe I was looking for comfort. Maybe I was looking for answers. Maybe I just needed to feel close to someone who loved me, unconditionally. But what I found inside changed the entire trajectory of my life. Tucked between the pages of Psalms was a yellowed envelope I'd never noticed before. And inside that envelope was a letter. A letter my grandmother had written but never sent. A letter that contained one piece of information that would eventually give me everything I'd been praying for. If you've ever felt like giving up on your dream, I hope my story gives you the strength to keep going. Consider subscribing if you want to hear what happened next. But let me take you back to the beginning, because to understand why that letter meant everything, you have to understand who I was before all of this started. I grew up in a small town in Indiana, the kind of place where everyone knows everyone, where families go back generations, and where being a mother was just ... expected. My grandmother, Helen, was the matriarch of our family. She had 4 children, 11 grandchildren, and more wisdom than anyone I've ever known. I adored her when I was little. She'd hold me on her lap and say, "Becky, someday you're going to be the most wonderful mother. I can see it in you." I believed her. Derek and I got married when I was 28. He was my college sweetheart, the kind of man who made you believe in forever. We bought a little house in the suburbs of Chicago, painted the 2nd bedroom yellow, and started trying for a baby right away. We thought it would be easy. Everyone made it look so easy. But month after month, nothing happened. "Just relax," my mother said. "It'll happen when you stop trying so hard. Give it time," my doctor said. "You're still young." We gave it time. 1 year turned into 2. I was 31. When we finally got answers, my doctor sat us down and explained that my hormone levels were abnormal. My egg reserve was low for my age, and without intervention, our chances of conceiving naturally were slim. "What do we do?" I asked, my voice shaking. "IVF," she said. "It's your best option." Derek squeezed my hand. "Then that's what we'll do." We had no idea what we were signing up for. The first round of IVF cost US $18,000. We emptied our savings account. Derek took on extra shifts at work. I cut coupons and canceled our gym membership and told myself it would all be worth it. Because it had to be worth it, right? The injections started. The hormones, the mood swings, the bloating, the endless appointments. I remember sitting in waiting rooms filled with other women just like me. We never talked to each other, but we all had the same look in our eyes, hope and fear, mixed together in equal measure. Retrieval day came. "They got 8 eggs. That's a good number," the nurse said. I held on to those words like a lifeline. 5 of the 8 fertilized ... by day 3. We had 3 viable embryos ... by day 5. We had 1 ... just 1. They transferred it anyway, and then came the wait. 2 weeks of absolute agony, analyzing every cramp, every twinge, every possible symptom ... I took the blood test on a Tuesday. The nurse called that afternoon. "I'm so sorry," she said. It didn't take this time. Time. As if there would be a next time. As if we could just keep doing this. Forever. Derek found me on the bathroom floor that night. Sobbing into a towel, he held me and said, "We'll try again. We're not giving up." So we tried again. Round 2. $22,000. We took out a home equity loan. This time we got 6 eggs. 3 fertilized. To made it to transfer, I was so sure it would work, it didn't. Your body just needs to adjust, the doctor said. Sometimes it takes a few tries. It's a few tries. Like we were playing a game. Like our entire future wasn't hanging in the balance. Round 3. A different protocol. More aggressive hormone treatments. My body was a battlefield. I gained weight. Lost sleep. Cried at commercials. Fought with Derek over nothing, but I kept going. Because what else could I do? This time we transferred to embryos, and for the first time the test came back positive. I remember screaming. Actually screaming with joy. Derek lifted me off the ground and spun me around. "We did it," he kept saying. "We did it." But something felt wrong from the very beginning. My hormone levels weren't rising the way they should. The ultrasound at 6 weeks showed a heartbeat. But it was faint. "We'll monitor it closely," the doctor said. At 8 weeks. There was no heartbeat at all. I had to have a procedure to remove what was left of our baby. Our baby who never got a chance. Derek held me in the hospital parking lot for 20 minutes. Before I could get into the car, "We can try again," he whispered, but his voice sounded different now, less certain. I was 30-4. Rounds 4, 5, and 6 blurred together. More debt, more hormones, more failed transfers. By round 6, we'd spent over $100,000. We'd refinanced our house, maxed out 3 credit cards, borrowed money from Derek's parents. Our marriage was cracking under the weight of it all. "Maybe we should take a break," Derek said one night. I turned on him with a fury I didn't know I had. A break. Every month that passes, my chances get lower. "You want me to just give up?" "I want my wife back," he said quietly. "I feel like I've lost you to this." That stopped me. Cold. Because he was right. I'd become obsessed, consumed. Every waking moment was about IVF schedules and supplement routines and fertility forums. I'd forgotten how to be anything other than a woman, desperately trying to become a mother, but I couldn't stop. I didn't know how. We compromised. We took 3 months off, went to couples counseling, tried to remember why we fell in love in the first place, and then we started again. Round 7. A new clinic, a new doctor, new hope. Failed. Round 8. An experimental protocol that was supposed to improve egg quality. Failed. My grandmother passed away between rounds 8 and 9. I flew home to Indiana for the funeral, numb in a way I'd never experienced. She was 9 years old. She'd lived a full, beautiful life. But standing at her graveside, all I could think was that I'd never get to tell her I was pregnant. I'd never get to see her hold my child. My mother handed me the Bible at the wake. "She wanted you to have this," she said. I tucked it into my suitcase and didn't think about it again, because round 9 was coming. Our final chance. This time I told myself it would work. It had to work. The universe owed us this. We got 5 eggs, 4 fertilized. To mate it to blast, we transferred both and waited. On day 12. I started spotting it might be implantation bleeding, the nurse said. It wasn't. The blood test confirmed what I already knew in my heart. Negative, again, a week later. I sat in Dr. Patterson's office for our follow-up. She was kind. She was compassionate. But she was also honest. "Rebecca, I've been doing this for 22 years. And sometimes, despite everything we try, it just doesn't work." "What are you saying?" I asked. She took a deep breath. "I'm saying that based on your response to the last 3 cycles, your age, and your remaining egg reserve. I don't believe additional IVF attempts are likely to result in a viable pregnancy." The room started spinning. "So that's it. You're giving up on me?" "I'm not giving up on you. I'm being honest with you. There are other paths to motherhood. Donor eggs, adoption, surrogacy. but continuing IVF at this point. I don't think it's the right choice for you." Derek's hand found mine. I pulled away. "I'm sorry," Dr. Patterson said softly. "I'm so sorry, but it's over." I don't remember leaving the office. I don't remember the drive home. I just remember standing in my kitchen at 9 o'clock at night, feeling more alone than I'd ever felt in my entire life. Derek went to bed. Around 11. I couldn't sleep. I wandered through the house like a ghost. And eventually, I ended up in my closet. Looking at that cardboard box, I pulled out my grandmother's Bible without knowing why. I sat on the floor and just held it for a while. It smelled like her, like lavender and old paper and something I couldn't name, but recognized as home. I started flipping through the pages. That's when I felt it. Something. Thicker than paper, an envelope, wedged between pages. 489 and 490. The Book of Psalms. My hands were shaking as I opened it. Inside was a single piece of paper, yellowed with age, handwritten in my grandmother's careful script. It was dated August 14th, 1962. "Dear Margaret," began. Margaret was my grandmother's sister. She'd passed away before I was born. I'm writing this letter because I don't have the courage to say it out loud. But I need someone to know the truth. The doctors have told me I'll never have children. Something is wrong with my blood. They call it an autoimmune condition, something they can't quite explain or treat. My body attacks any pregnancy before it can take hold. I've lost 4 babies now. Henry doesn't know about the last one. I couldn't bear to tell him, but I'm writing to tell you that I haven't given up. There's a doctor in Indianapolis. His name is Dr. Samuel Greenwald. He's doing experimental work with women like me. Something about blood-thinning treatments and immune suppression. It's my last hope. I don't know if it will work, but I have to try. I have to know I tried everything. If you're reading this, pray for me, your sister. Helen. The letter had never been sent. Maybe my grandmother had changed her mind. Maybe she'd been too scared. Maybe she'd tucked it away and forgotten about it, but I couldn't stop staring at one phrase: my body attacks any pregnancy. Before it can take hold, I'd heard those words before. In a fertility forum. In a support group from women who'd been diagnosed with something called antiphospholipid syndrome apps, an autoimmune condition where the blood clots abnormally, where the body, for reasons science still doesn't fully understand, treats a pregnancy like a threat and destroys it. I'd never been tested for it, not once in 7 years, not in 9 rounds of IVF, because my doctors had focused on egg quality, on hormone levels, on embryo development, not on what happened after implantation, not on why my body kept rejecting perfectly healthy embryos. My grandmother had eventually had 4 children, including my mother, which meant that treatment had worked. Something had worked. I woke Derek up at 2 in the morning. "Need to show you something," I said. He read the letter 3 times. "Do you think ... double quotes," he started. "I think I need to get tested tomorrow." Took 2 weeks to get the results. 2 weeks that felt like 2 years, and then my phone rang. "Mrs. Morrison, your blood work came back. You've tested positive for antiphospholipid syndrome." I almost dropped the phone. What does that mean? It means we may have found the reason for your pregnancy losses. And more importantly, it's treatable. It's treatable. After 7 years of dead ends, someone had finally said the word treatable. I cried harder than I'd cried in years. But these were different tears. These were tears of hope. I found a new specialist, a reproductive immunologist who actually listened, who looked at my grandmother's letter and said, "This is exactly why family history matters." She explained that with proper treatment, many women with apps go on to have successful pregnancies. Even after years of loss, we had one frozen embryo left from round 8. One tiny chance we'd been saving for an emergency. This felt like that. Emergency. With the new treatment protocol, we transferred that embryo in March. The wait was unbearable. But this time, something felt different. on day 14. I took the blood test. The nurse called that afternoon. I was standing in my kitchen. The same kitchen where I'd felt so hopeless just 3 months before. Rebecca, are you sitting down? My heart stopped. Your numbers are perfect. You're pregnant. I collapsed onto the floor. Derek came running from the other room. What happened? What's wrong? I couldn't speak. I could only point at the phone and sob. He picked it up, and then he was on the floor too, holding me. Both of us crying. We're having a baby, he kept saying. We're actually having a baby. The pregnancy wasn't easy. I was high risk the entire time. Weekly appointments, daily medication, constant monitoring. At 20 weeks, there was a scare. Some bleeding. An emergency ultrasound. I was convinced we'd lost another one. But there she was on that screen, moving, kicking, fighting to stay. My daughter, Eleanor Helen Morrison, was born on November 12th, weighing 6 pounds, 4 ounces. They placed her on my chest, and I couldn't stop staring at her. She looked like my grandmother, the same eyes, the same little nose. Derek took 100 pictures that first hour, but there's one that's my favorite. One where I'm holding Eleanor and looking up at the ceiling. Derek asked me later what I was thinking in that moment. I was thanking Grandma, I told him, for leaving me that letter. Eleanor is 3 now. She has my grandmother's stubbornness and her great-grandfather's laugh. She has no idea how long we fought for her, how much we sacrificed, how close we came to never having her at all. Someday, I'll tell her. When she's old enough to understand, I'll show her the letter. The one that was never sent, but somehow found. It's way to me anyway. The one that contained the answer I'd been searching for all along. Sometimes I think about what would have happened if I'd found that letter sooner. If someone had tested me for a PS 7 years ago. If the medical system hadn't failed me so many times. But I try not to dwell on the anger, because anger won't give me those years back. What I focus on instead is this. Speak up. Ask questions. Demand answers. Trust your instincts, and if something doesn't feel right, keep pushing until someone listens. I also want to say this. If you're in the middle of your own struggle right now, please don't give up on yourself. The path might be longer and harder than you ever imagined. There might be losses that nearly break you. There might be moments when you can't see any way forward. But sometimes the answer is waiting in the most unexpected place. Sometimes it's been there all along. For me, it was hidden in a Bible that smelled like lavender, a message from the grandmother, who always believed I'd be a wonderful mother. She was right. I want to thank you for listening to my story. If it resonated with you, I hope you'll share it with someone who needs to hear it. And I have a question for you. Has anyone in your family ever left you something? Maybe a letter, a piece of advice, or even just a memory that ended up changing your life in a way you never expected. I'd love to hear your story in the comments. You are not alone in this, and neither am I.